One of the very powerful features in Python is the slicing, which is feature available for the lists, strings, and tuples. So today we'll learn more about it. Remember the range function. In the range function, we provide an index which will be the first index to include, and an index which will be the first index to exclude. We can also provide a step, which can be positive or negative. The range can be increasing or decreasing based on the step. A range of 5 is just 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This range is actually not something that is ready for you to use in the memory. You can iterate over it, or you can use a list over this range to get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Range of 2, 5 will start from 2, keep going till the 5, but 5 will be the first index to exclude, and so on. Starting with 1 with the jumps of 4, so it will be 1, 5, 5 and 4 will be 9, and so on. You can also go in a decreasing direction. For example, from 5 to 0 with -1, you will keep decreasing till 1, 0 will be excluded. 5 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1, this is actually a sequence from 4 to 0. You can think of it as learning how to move in a decreasing order. Now let's move to the slicing itself. Slicing is a flexible tool to build a new list out of an existing list. So here we have a list of 9 numbers ranging from 0 to 8. These values here. If you wrote nums of 2:7, it means create for us a new list starting from index 2 up to index 6. So the new list that you will get will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a new list in memory. For example, the ID of this list will not be equal as this list. So again, the syntax is you use a colon, before it you provide the start, and after it you provide an index. But notice again, the end here is excluded. For example, 7 here will be excluded from the result. So actually it will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very similar to the range. This is the first index to include, and this will be the first index to exclude. Let's see some examples. I'm creating here a list where the values are from 0 to 8. This is like making the value and index the same, just to make it make sense for you. If you slice from 2 to 6, it will bring for you values from 2 to 5. Now you can here come and change the sublist with 0 value of 100, but observe that the original my list will not be changed because they are different in the memory, and 0 is a mutable, the value here in index 0 is a mutable value. Again, you can here slice from 5 to 6, which is just a single element value of 5, so it's a list of single element. Here from 5 to 1000, when you are providing an index that is beyond the actual index, it will just be trimmed at the actual end. So from 5 to 1000, it will just end to include the 8 itself. So far, this very like similar to the range function. Now there are what we call the default limits, which simplify the coding but sometimes very counterintuitive for guys. Here we are saying 0:5. What if the first element is missing? This isn't a syntax error. If the first element is missing, the default is 0 value. So the query from 0:5 is same as empty or none to 5. What about the end? If we wrote here 5:9, 9 will be the first index to be excluded, so we are ending up to the 8. 4:nothing here is actually the same as this one. So if you are missing the start, the default is 0. If you are missing the end, the default is the length of the list itself. Observe, if you wrote 4, that's all, it is actually the 5th element, which is index number 4. 4: is a slice from 4 to the last element in the list. 4 is a slice from 0 to the index number 3. According to that, if you try to concatenate 4 with 4: this will actually be the whole list. In a very similar way, and you will see this a lot in industry, if you wrote something like that's all. So there is no start and there is no end. The default of the start is 0, the default of the end is the end of the list. So this is actually again a copy of the whole list. In a similar way to the range, we can also have a step, which is by default 1. When we write 1:8 without anything else here, it's just a sublist from 1 to 7. If you put colon 1, it's actually the same. It's actually stepping one by one. If you put colon 2, it will be stepping 2 items. Colon 3, it will be stepping 3 items. So the default is 1. Before the next step, before the next lesson, I would like you to practice what we did already. Next time we will talk more about missing values for the start and the step. We will handle the negative step, and we will talk about replacing and deleting using slicing. One more concern here is the slicing and the memory. This is a bit critical. Let's say that we have an object here which is mutable by definition in this way. Pass here means an empty class, and we created a list of 3 items. Now when you slice from 0 to 2, this will bring for us the first 2 elements. Now remember that list 1 and the list 2 will be to different memory objects. For example, list 1 is list 2 will be false. However, list 1 of 0 is list 2 of 0 is object 1, the answer would be true. So remember what's happening is we are slicing a new list for a specific range, but the values itself are just assigned. So if they are mutable, it will be mutable. If they are immutable, it will be immutable. In this case, if you try to play and change in list 1 of 0, list 2 of 0 will be changed because it is mutable. If it is immutable, the changes will never change anything as we learned. That's all.